Hi everyone, I'm Catherine and I am back with another book-related video. I'm going to be talking about October, what books I'm going to be reading this month, and hopefully I can get through all of them this month, but we'll see. There's quite a few on my book list, but let's get started. So I am not going to go through these books in any particular order, but there are quite a few. So I'm going to start with the first one. Haunted by Darcy Coates, and this one is about a girl who goes missing, and her brother Chris is trying to find out what happened to her. She went missing on a hike, and her brother is trying to figure out what exactly happened on this hike when she never came back. So I'm kind of really looking forward to this one. This one is about 455 pages, so I can't wait to read this one. That's pretty much all I know about this book. This is my first book I'm reading from this author, so hopefully this is a good book. I am praying it is. The next book I'm going to be reading this month is The Patient by Jasper, and as a lot of you know, I did not care for The Silent Patient. So someone says if you don't like The Silent Patient, you probably enjoy this one. So I am going to read this one. It is rather short. I think it's like 200 and something pages. It is like 200, like the last page is 209. So it's not very long. So I'll be reading this one as well this month. It is about a patient who is in a asylum or a mental hospital, and I think he's a serial killer. Finds him from face to face with the possibility of being in the wild imagination. So I don't know much about this one. All I know, it's kind of related to The Silent Patient, so we will see how much I like this one. I'll read you the synopsis. In a series of online posts, Parker H., a young psychologist, chronicled the lyrical account of the time working on a daily mental health in New England. Through his internet message board, Peter hopes to explain the effect to cure one bewildering patient. We learned, as Parker did on his first day, of the factory's most difficult and profoundly dangerous cases. A 41-year-old man originally committed to the hospital at the age of 6 with night terrors. The patient has no known diagnosis, and his symptoms have developed over time in unusual ways. The only responding factor is every person who has encountered him has even driven to madness or suicide. The depth and fear the hospital medical director keeps the patient confined independently, allowing only minimal contact with staff for their own safety. Parker confronts in his skills is convinced that he will be the one to cure what others cannot by finding out what ails the suffering erotic man. But when events spiral out of his control, Parker finds himself face to face with a possibility beyond his wildest imagination. So, it's about, basically, you just hear me read that synopsis. So, I'm kind of looking forward to this one. So, hopefully, it's a good book. So, the next one is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This one is pretty old one, an old book. I haven't read it. I know it's a movie's out. I've never seen the movie, and this is my first book by this author. And it's about a man whose wife goes missing, and he is the prime suspect in her disappearance. That's all I know. So I'm kind of excited for this one too. The next one is The Companionship by Kate. And let me see the synopsis. Lucky to have survived a horrible accident that killed her family, lucky to have her own room because she wakes up screaming every night, and finally lucky to be chosen by a prominent family to live in their remote country estate. But it wasn't luck that made the sudden rescue Margaret from her bleak existence at the group home. Margaret was handpicked to be a companion to their silent, mysterious daughter. At first, helping with Agatha and getting to know her handsome older brother seems much better than the group home, but soon the isolated house begins playing tricks on Margaret's mind and making her question everything she believes about the Suttons and herself. Margaret's bad dreams may have stopped when she came to live with Agnes, but the real nightmare has just begun. This one I'm really looking forward to, and I've heard a lot of people say this is a really good book, so I am kind of excited to read this. And it's October, so all of these are pretty about either murders or kind of like supernatural stuff that's going on. The next book is my best friend's Exorcism, and this is the paperback, and it's basically about high school students Abby and Gretchen, and I'm assuming it's about her best friend, who I think it's Gretchen's best, I don't know, one or the other, who basically is needs an exorcism. That's all I know about this one, and it takes place I think in the 80s, so I'm kind of excited. This one has been recommended widely over BookTube, so a lot of these have been recommended. Some of them have had really high ratings and some of them haven't. This one is another one with a really high rating, so we'll see how this one is. The next one is kind of a horror / thriller book. It is the Southern Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires. This one, a lot of these I don't know much about just because I've never read them. So this one is basically about a book club, and this mysterious man shows up. He's very attractive. They come to find out he is a vampire, and that's pretty much all I know. And it is, I think it's like a horror book. So I'm in love with vampires. So this vampires, werewolves, anything that pretty much has to do with like Halloween, I'm really, really into. Zombies, just everything. So this one I think I'm probably gonna read first, just because I already have the audiobook for it. So I'm kind of excited. Okay, the next book is The Deep. This one takes place on the Titanic. It's about a nurse who survived the Titanic, and she's on the sister ship of the Titanic, and a man who was on the Titanic who she thought died it was rescued and now is on the sister ship, but she says that there was no way for him to have survived the Titanic that long in that type of water, so she thinks that he is a ghost. So this one, I've heard very, very mixed reviews. This one said it was good. Others say it wasn't so good. Others recommend another book from her. I forgot what it was called. But I'm going to read this because it kind of takes place in the Titanic, and I love the Titanic. I've watched a lot of documentaries on it. So I'm kind of excited to read this one as well. So I don't know much. I haven't read it. So this is going to be interesting. The next book, I've also heard people talk about quite a bit, and it is also very small. Well, not small. I mean, it's not very long. It's about 280 pages, and it is The Chalk Man It is, and it takes place in 2 different timelines. It takes place in 2016, and I think it also takes place in, like, I want to say the 80s, 1980s or something like that. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, it takes place 1986. And it's about these groups of friends who made like little chalkmen, and they found them next to a dead body. And this one has also been highly recommended, and it was like, I think, a book of the month pick. So I'm kind of excited, and it is a thriller mystery, which those are the books that I love usually. So I'm kind of excited to start this one as well. The next and final book is called Campfire, and I think it is a young adult book. And it says some scary stories can kill. This one I've had actually, and I haven't read it. It's not very long, and I think this is like one of the perfect books to read in the Halloween season. It is about, hold on. It is about Maddie and her family. They go kind of like camping, and they start telling scary stories around the campfire. And as they're reading and as they're telling these stories, a lot of other people are telling stories, and these stories are starting to come to life, and people are starting to die the same way, like in the story. So it's kind of like an interesting premise to this book. So I'm really excited to start this one. And all of the books I mentioned are going to be listed down below with the author. So if you want to check them out, you can. This is the last book in my stack. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 books. Hopefully I can get through most of these this month, because I fortunately can read while I'm working. So I should be able to get through all of these. So this is the end of this video. As always, please like and subscribe to my channel if you like this content. If you have any questions, comment down below. I haven't decided if I would just want to do a wrap-up video where I talk about all of the books when I'm finished reading them, or if I'm going to do one at a time, kind of like I did in a previous video. I haven't decided yet, but I know I'm definitely going to film a wrap-up for October. So keep in mind, and if you have an idea, or if you want me to post them as I finish reading them, I can do that. So just comment down below on what you guys want to see. As always, like and subscribe, and you guys have a great, safe day and a great, safe October. Bye.